and then Lee of Korea in the 32, and then Ehler of Germany in the 16, and then beat Louis Marie of France to get here. Now, on the season, CANDASSAMY 36th in Budapest, 35th in Astana, 35th in Wuxi. We see a pattern there, but earlier in the season we saw a different pattern. Third at the January at the Doha Grand Prix, first at the World Cup in Fujairah in January also, that's a nice month for her, and second in Vancouver World Cup in December, so she had a front-loaded season, and she's back. She's got 8 Grand Prix medals, no gold yet. And, oh, by the way, she was the world champion in Milan 2023. SANTUCCIO took 17th in Budapest last month, 3rd in Astana in March, 2nd in Wuxi in February, 6th in Doha in January. 2 weeks earlier in January, she took 2nd in Fujairah at the World Cup, 5th in Vancouver. She's had a very steady season, 4th time on the podium. She has a whopping 9 World Cup medals, including a gold in Tallinn, Estonia 2022. And she has 2 Grand Prix medals, including a gold in Budapest, also in 22, nice year. And in 23, she was the silver medalist at the World Championships. Losing to CANDASSAMY, so we have a nice rematch here. Oh, that's a minute, no fencing. These fencers have fenced going back to 2009. That is a generation. CANDASSAMY won the first time in the juniors, 15-12. In Dijon, and then a Senior World Cup in China. It was in 2016. They hadn't met in 7 years. SANTUCCIO, and then CANDASSAMY in 2019 at the Grand Prix in Qatar was the winner, and the European Championships in 2019 again in Dusseldorf was the winner, and again in 2000. Oh, this is 21. In Tallinn, World Cup was the winner. SANTUCCIO finally broke through 2022 at the World Cup in Tallinn. CANDASSAMY again was the winner at the World Championships in Milan, and again in Wuxi in 2025 at the World Cup. So CANDASSAMY has had the upper hand on SANTUCCIO. Let's see if she can turn the tables. So in order for the much shorter, with the shorter reach, SANTUCCIO to get inside CANDASSAMY's distance, 2 things have to happen there. One, she pushed CANDASSAMY to the end of the piece, so CANDASSAMY couldn't retreat anymore. That's a big advantage for SANTUCCIO. And then SANTUCCIO also, the shorter fencer, has to take the blade against the longer fencer. And she did. So everything worked right on that particular action for Alberta SANTUCCIO. Not sure why the delay, but we're ready to go. Okay, so we go to the break with a very tactical, tentative, careful first period. CANDASSAMY has the one-touch lead, which for a fencer with such a reach advantage could be a bigger thing than just one touch. SANTUCCIO is going to have to get inside the distance. Quicker footwork, taking of the blade, pushing CANDASSAMY. Watching the coach here, he's very clearly gesticulating with his right hand with all sorts of actions that would say you have to take the blade multiple times. So we saw it on the one touch SANTUCCIO scored, and she's going to have to try to do that again. So you could see the green light going off there without anything happening or touching the piece. So the technical people are going to have to take a look at this. The strip is grounded, which means, I think my colleague Karen Bashir says earthed, but we say grounded. What it means basically is that like that time she hit her foot. A point on the piece will not cause the light to go on. SANTUCCIO active on the blade. I think a little bit fortunate there to get a single light on that nice action, that nice attack. Watch here, let's see. CANDASSAMY fainted to the toe. Oh, and she had the double at hand. After fainting to the toe and missing, somehow she didn't put the light on. With her longer arm, you figure she would have gotten the double out of that. All right, so both fencers have P yellow cards. Oh, a nice attack to the toe by SANTUCCIO. Surprising everyone, including CANDASSAMY. Watch here. Beat upward and straight down to the toe. But it started with an upward beat, a septime beat, which maybe caught CANDASSAMY off guard because her blade was a little higher. Didn't expect that. Oh, SANTUCCIO was waiting. She parried it in the inside line with the 4 parry, but CANDASSAMY was able to sneak in the remise. Let's watch it. Watch the parry on the left. Right there. And the long arm of CANDASSAMY was able to continue forward and score in the remise. Same as we saw on an earlier action, SANTUCCIO pushes CANDASSAMY to the end of the piece, so she runs out. She can't retreat too much more. Now she takes the blade right there, and scores in the attack. So that's been effective for her twice. And CANDASSAMY can't allow herself to get pushed that easily because it negates her reach and length advantage and gives an advantage to SANTUCCIO. She has to stay in the middle. That's better for her. This time from a slightly longer distance, and let's watch what happened. Did CANDASSAMY parry this? It almost looked like she retook the blade, but see, in the middle of the piece, there's a little bit of an advantage for her there. SANTUCCIO needs to do that action at the end of the piece. And it's an advantage for CANDASSAMY because of her reach. SANTUCCIO retreated and said, let's reload and start again. So how about that? We have P red cards. So that's a point for each. And what this basically means that if there's another 1 minute of no fencing and the score is tied as it is now, SANTUCCIO ranked 3, CANDASSAMY 8, the higher ranked SANTUCCIO would be the winner. We go to the break tied, it appears. So it's a very interesting bout, a tactical bout. It is clear that if SANTUCCIO wants to have a chance to win this, it's got to be with actions on the blade. And it seems that if CANDASSAMY wants to win this, is to avoid letting SANTUCCIO take the blade, A, and B, not letting SANTUCCIO push her to the end of the piece where she was successful on 2 attacks on the blade. That's the key for CANDASSAMY. That's the one Achilles heel she has here, it appears, and she has to figure out how to utilize her reach advantage. So here we go. Third and final period of our first semifinal in the women's EPEE Grand Prix here in Medellín, 2026, the final EPEE Grand Prix of the season. Third of 3 after Doha and Budapest. On the blade. CANDASSAMY gave the blade to SANTUCCIO and she accepted it and scored easily in the middle of the piece. Oh, Santuccio on the blade is tough. Takes the blade there and scores every time she gets the blade, she gets the touch. CANDASSAMY cannot afford to give the blade like that. Even if she was trying for an intentional remise there, which it appeared she might have been, because so for the longer fencer that could be a good tactic. You feed the blade and try to sneak in the remise for the one light, but it's not working against Santuccio. Who I believe has her biggest lead of 2. On the blade, a good job by Santuccio. CANDASSAMY got the double, but Santuccio, when she gets that blade, it appears that she takes it more often than not with the 4 parry, the inside parry, as opposed to the 6 or counter 6, a circle 6. It's touch. There's no body contact, I don't believe. She's challenging it. Now, it doesn't matter when the word comes out of the referee's mouth. The action, let's see if there's body contact first. There was. It appeared that Santuccio's forearm hit CANDASSAMY in the mask. Right there, even the bell. This is after the hold. This probably should not be a touch. It's, in my opinion. You can clearly see the body contact. And not a peep from CANDASSAMY. That's it. She loses the video review. She has 1 left. And the referees had the benefit of seeing that many times in slow motion and regular motion, so their call is the one that matters. So Santuccio took a risk she probably didn't have to. Let's see, did she take the blade? She did. Well, listen, it's a good risk because she's been so successful. That time she wasn't, but I'd be surprised if she takes that risk again here. Really, the onus is on CANDASSAMY with 38 seconds to go to push and take risks. It doesn't mean Santuccio has to be passive, but she has to be careful about taking unnecessary risks. But if she gets the blade, she's been successful. Well, she's 0 for the last 2. CANDASSAMY scores again. Let's see. So that gigantic, juicy 3-point differential is down to just 1 with 13 seconds to go. Santuccio's failed on her last 2 attacks taking the blade. Does she try it again? She can't be passive. She gets it. This time she got it. Because time was running out, CANDASSAMY had to commit. And 2 seconds is not enough in most cases to score 2 touches. And that will, it's a double. There's still time, but it's 0.36 of a second. That's impossible to get to. You can see the war whoop of relief, excitement, overcoming an opponent that had beaten you many more times than you had beaten her. And there's your winner, going for gold, Alberta SANTUCCIO. He's having a great season, and it continues.